Hello friends and welcome to another video. So today I wanted to share with you all the books that I read in June. I realize I'm a little bit late with my June wrap up because it is the first week of July and I've already started my July TBR, but that's just me and my uploading schedule. So if you didn't know this, I upload a video every Tuesday and Friday so I can give you guys loads of content. And in this case that means that you can watch my June wrap up in July. To give you a quick overview of my month, I've read a total of 7 books and that amounts to a total of 3,875 pages, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. June was a pretty diverse month when it comes to genre because I read thriller, historical fiction, and young adult fantasy. June was also the month in which I bought a lot of books. But let's be honest, I buy a lot of books pretty much every month, but this time I made a video about it, so if you're interested I will leave that up in the info cards. And if you like these kind of videos, then don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you never miss another video of me again. Let's get started. I just want to quickly show you guys my t-shirt because it is freaking awesome. I love this freaking t-shirt. This is amazing. First up is my audiobook, which is Dragonfly in Amber. This is the second book in the Outlander series by Gabaldon. I'm not afraid to say that I'm one of those people that first fell in love with the TV series and then later on decided to read the books. If you've seen these books, you will understand because they are quite intimidating, so I've decided to listen to all the books on Audible. And so far that's been a great decision. The narrator, Davina Porter, does an amazing job. She does all the different accents and it's just very immersive. In the second book we follow James and Clare to Paris in France, where they have a secret mission regarding the Bonnie Prince. We get introduced to a lot of new characters and among my favorites are Raymond, who has this wonderful apothecary, and Mother Hildegard and her dog Bouton. And this dog can actually find out by sniffing what kind of sickness you have. This was another good story. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Gabaldon just has this way of writing like you're there. There's so much detail. It's very realistic if you ask me, and I just love all the dialogues between the different characters. So this was another 5-star read for me. And of course I've already started to listen to the third book in the series, which is called Voyager. Also, I think I found out what Gabaldon's favorite word is: to and fro. I mean, technically that's 3 words, but seriously, she uses that so much. It's not annoying or anything, but it's just something I'm noticing. So yeah, to and fro. The next book that I finished in June is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I made an entire video about this book, so I will be brief. I think that this was my least favorite of all the Harry Potter books I am rereading so far. I don't want to piss people off, but I think it is just a bit too long for my taste. I feel like some of the chapters were just added to add to the story, like in length, and not because it was needed. I love all the different details, but yeah, I don't know, I just lost my attention from time to time and I don't think that a book should do that. I gave this one 4 stars. I still think it's an amazing and good story, but less than the previous 4 books. I also wrote down my favorite quote from Order of the Phoenix. "You are the most insensitive ward I have ever had the misfortune to meet." And that is of course Hermione just before she accuses Ron of having the emotional range of a teaspoon. The next book that I read is The Herd by Andrea Bartz, and this came in my Once Upon a Book Club box. The story mostly takes place at The Herd, which is a female-only co-working space. We follow 2 POVs, Katie and Hannah. They are sisters. Hannah works at The Herd and Katie really wants to work there. But then all of a sudden Eleanor Walls, the founder of The Herd, disappears and a police investigation starts where everyone is a suspect. This book pretty much mentions every minority. There's a discussion about skin color, there is bisexuality, there are trios, there are lesbians. It has it all, and it also has a good story. It is pretty much a whodunit, and I thought it was a little bit predictable, but it still kept me on the edge of my seat. What I didn't like about the book is that the main characters, Katie and Hannah, are so much alike when it comes to the writing style that I sometimes didn't know if I was reading about Katie or Hannah, and I had to flip back to to see what chapter I was reading. Also, I could have done without the epilogue, and as I said, it was a little bit predictable, so in the end I gave this book 3.5 stars. My favorite quote from the herd: "Feeling like you don't know what the F you're doing shouldn't trigger shame." Next up is City of Bones, a Shadowhunters novel by Cassandra Clare, and this is of course the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. So this is pretty much one of those series that if you are into young adult fantasy, which I am, you have to read, and I never started this series, so why not start now? This book really has it all: vampires, demons, werewolves, warlocks, angels, shadow hunters. Amazing. And this all takes place in the real world, in Brooklyn and Manhattan, Queens. And yeah, Clare Frey, our main character, is just sucked into it because she apparently has a shadow hunter as a mother and kind of this demon lord as a father. This apparently means that she has to be recruited, so she goes to the academy where she meets other shadow hunter kids, and yeah, that's where the adventure begins. This is just one of those books that you don't want to put down. You just want to keep on reading. You want to find out what happens next. There are loads of plot twists. One of those plot twists is very unexpected and gross. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Just a good fantasy read. The only thing that I missed is a bit more in-depth character development, which made me feel like I didn't have an emotional connection with them yet, but I'm pretty sure that that will come in the next book because it is a very big book series. So yeah, I ended up giving this book 4 stars. And my favorite quote: "Where there is feeling that is not requited, there is an imbalance of power. It is an imbalance that is easy to exploit, but it is not a wise course." Next up is Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. This is another book that came in my Once Upon a Book Club box, which means I already did a full book review and a book box unboxing, so I will be brief. The story takes place in 1853. We follow 2 main characters, Naomi May and John Lowry. John is a half Pawnee man, which is an Indian tribe, and they are on this wagon trail, the Overland Trail. It's pretty much a love story meets historical fiction. It's just a very suspenseful read, and you just want to learn more about the relationship between Naomi and John. Along the way they also meet a few Indian tribes, which is very interesting to read. The author even teaches us some Indian words, and then also the author notes describe that a lot of these characters were real, which makes the read even more interesting. This story got me teary-eyed a couple of times. I was really involved with the characters and their relationship, and I ended up giving this book 4 stars, but I have to say, if it was a little less romance focused, that's personal preference, I probably would have given this book 5 stars. And my favorite quote: "I tell her I am trapped where the lost wander, and I don't see any way out." Next up is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the 3rd book in the trilogy. So in the 3rd book we follow Feyre, who is now a high fae, and there's also a big part of Rhys in here. Those are pretty much the 2 main characters in the story, and other than that I don't think I can say that much without spoiling the entire book series for you. What I can say is Tamlin didn't expect that plot twist. Urian didn't expect that plot twist. Amren didn't expect that. All these godly creatures like the Bone Carver and the Weaver of the Woods didn't expect that. Very cool. Rhys did expect that. Love reading about it. And the ending, that was such an epic ending. I seriously couldn't put the book down. The last 200 pages like flew by. It was just amazing. However, I didn't like the 3rd book as much as I liked the 1st and the 2nd book. I just felt like the first 400 pages were not that interesting. It was just kind of like banter between the characters, developing their relationship, but there wasn't really a storyline or progress that was being made. I kind of feel that it all happened in the last 200 to 300 pages. So for me that meant that I couldn't give this one 5 stars, but I did give it 4 stars because it is still a very good fantasy read. And the final book that I read is Incendiary by Zoraida Córdova. And this book came in my fairyLoot box, and I believe this is the first in a trilogy. This is a very cool and unique story. We follow Renata, who is a Robari. That means that she can take your memories, and if she takes too many memories, you become hollow. So first Renata worked for the Empire, and now she is in the Rebellion, who are called the Whispers. There's also the commander of the Whispers, who is called Dash. They are in love with each other, but then something happens to Dash, and Renata has to prevent that the Empire eliminates the entire rebellion. I really like the story. As I said, it's very unique in my opinion. I really like the world that it takes place in and all the characters. I especially love Leo. What I didn't like is that our main characters are around 16, 17, but they feel so much older, and that just takes away a bit of the credibility. Also, the story is kind of predictable, but in the end, I didn't really care about that. It is just a good story and a good young adult fantasy read, so I gave it 4 stars. And my favorite quote, "I am a shadow, I am a drop of ink. Vengeance is the night. I am Robari." And that was it. Those were all the books that I read in June. I can't wait to set my July TBR. I am so in the reading mood. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and let's stay in touch.